Tainted, and today for Tiberium Alliances, I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about research point priority. Now, some people may agree with this and some don't. And there are a bunch that are optional, you do not have to do them in that specific order, but I'm just going to show you how you can get fast in the servers and how you can just pretty much speed past all those people who don't know what they're doing. So the first one I'm going to be doing is about GDI, and then I'll hop over to World 35 to my NOD account and show you about that. But for GDI, you start out with your three basics, and then here's where things come into play, and you also have your pit bull. Missile squads, don't get them until later. They're just an extra buffer for later on. Alright, the first thing you want to get is the Predator. It is your first heavy hitter in the game that is for vehicles. The Paladins, they do hit hard, but not as hard as the Predators, and they do not have much of a lifespan. And unlike the Predators, they do not have to worry about, or you do not have to worry about anti-missile squads along with those vehicles. And the only downfall is the rocket fist, but that's where you use your militants. They are your pride and joy. You'll have them, at least one of them, for the rest of the game. After that, obviously, you want your structural downfalling units, which are the Firehawks. Zone troopers, you do not worry about them until later, though they are very lovely to have, because by the time you have your Firehawks, you should be getting your second, base, which is your first MCV. I almost said second MCV. That comes later. And this is for offense. I'll show you defensive later. But after you have your second base, that's when you have to make the choice of, do you want to be able to down outposts, camps, and forgotten bases faster to push forward for your alliance? Or do you want to get your credits up so you can sit back, farm, and then just pump your way through it and increase your rank? So that one's up to you, but generally you want to go for your commandos first. Afterwards, by the time you have your commandos, this is where, most people, if you're doing it correctly, by the time you can research your Orca and have more left over, you should be able to get your third base. Now, this also depends on what server you're on. Some actually have reduced credits. As you can see, this is generally, I'm pretty sure this is more on other servers, but this has a reduced economy. So that's where you make your decision to make your path, third base, or Orcas and Commandos. Sorry. Afterwards, that's where Juggernauts come in. And then Juggernauts and Snipers. By then you should also have your fourth base. And then you can make the approach of what I'm doing, and I'm going for my fifth base before I get the Mammoths. Now, while they're very tempting to have, it's kind of nice to have a fifth base, because then you can power straight up to the 40 credits, get your 100 million research points, and then just get your Mammoths, and then right then and there you just blast off straight to your Kodiak. So it's just how I like to roll in. I don't like to have my rank going up, and it happens even though I'm using funds. There's tons of people using them, and the only way to get higher up is more bases, faster destruction of bases and everything like that. And the defense. This is the most important thing of the game. Most people think you do not need a defense on almost any base. I'm sorry to tell you, that is a lie. No matter whether it's an attacking base or a POI holder. And if it is a POI holder, your butt better have a high defense, because high ranked alliances are not going to tolerate that. All bases need to have a defense, and of course the ones you're going to focus on are your main attacking base, your secondary, and POIs, or bases that are holding important POIs. The lesser ones, which are the weaker ones, they can come to the last because they're not as important, but that does not mean you need to neglect them. Now, early on in the game, you just want predators and pit bulls. Do not worry about guardian cannons or anything else. You just have MG nest, predators, and pit bulls. So that's pretty much what's gonna be what you're having for the longest time. and then when you can afford it. Now the key word is afford it. Do not just try to blast right through it. It is not important till later on. By the time you can't afford it, that's when you're going to need it. Your offense must, and I'll stress must, consist of sniper teams and zone troopers. And then later, Titan artillery and a SAM site. Only one of each. So it should look a little like pretty much like this. For now, you can, if you, it's optional right here, you can put, your guarding cannons, but you need zone trooper, sniper, and then your pit bull. Therefore, they all cover each other, except for the zone troopers. They only cover the sniper team, but still. That's why you have multiples, and I use the guarding cannon mostly just to slow down units, so that if it's the structure, they focus on it. Say Firehawks, they waste their ammunition on it. Because some people actually try to overpower my defense by getting the guarding cannons out of the way first. And then it's just a pain. Infantry and pit bulls are actually the best defense you can possibly have. And then generally you'll have your SAM site and Titan artillery about right here so that it can cover just about the rim there. So while they're attacking your front line and possibly second, they're getting hammered on from all the way back here. That's pretty much it about the GDI, so let's go ahead and hop over to Nod. Alright, we are back, and pretty much like the others, you got your first three, and then you got your rocket squads, which I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure you get those same time as Pitbull. Then what you want to do first, you want to get your black hand and then attack bike. You'll stick with them for a little while, and then you get your vertigo. This will be a setup for a while also, because by the time you get this, you should have your your second base, sorry. And then that's when you work for your Scorpion Inspector, get your another base. It's pretty much every two you get another base, but by the time like after you get your Cobras and Commandos, and you should have about 3 or 4 bases. At that point, you should be saving up for avatars or your 4th, 5th base, whichever one you wanted to go for. That's why I said the last one or the last 3 are all optional for base wise. You can either choose to get those first, or you can choose to get the base. So it's all on you. And then it's pretty much exactly the same as the GDI for defense. You want, Black Hand, Militant Squads, and Confessors. And then, since I don't have them on there, I'll show you what the turret layout should look like. And if you're curious, don't worry about all that. Some idiots were dumb and attacked our allies that are camping in the center of the fortress because he got irritated. Anyways, besides going off topic, you can have them lined up like this, because most of the time this front row is just gonna get like busted. So by the time they get here and they're at the main focus, this is just like raining hammer of dawn on them. And then the SAM site's just for extra protection, because it's infantry, and more than likely they're gonna send in air units to take you out. And I'm not too sure if I covered it earlier, but one of the main reasons why a defense like this is so good is because everybody is always spec'd up to, attack, the Forgotten and possibly other players. So they're not really geared up to fight a whole entire, defense of infantry. So they'll probably try to use their orcas, they'll try to use their venoms, just try to do anything to wipe through this as fast as they can, only to find that you, since you're so smart and amazing, you have everything covering each other, like ultimate defense, best you can have. Now you can mix around patterns as you want, but you do not want to have them like zigzags or cross to where it's like you see black hand, black hand, black hand. You want to mix it up so that the enemy can't just find a weakness and break it up. And then don't worry about it sometimes having them back to back. It's in a way good, because while this is getting hammered with the upgrade, this is also firing. So while this is getting shielded, and that, I'm not too sure how far the range goes, but that's possibly being shielded. So as as far as that goes for this one, that is all we got for today. So I'll see you guys later.